Well, check out these beautiful wedding cakes courtesy of the Grand Hotel Marriott. We have executive chef Mike Wallace and pastry chef John Jackson. And guys, these look amazing, and it smells so good in here as well.
Yes, sir. Well, we're excited to be here. We always are. We enjoy the show, and we really wanted to focus on all the wonderful things that we do for weddings, which is great, but we do some great wedding cakes and groom's cakes as well. And when we look at the wedding cakes are so important to a bride. I mean, this is one of the biggest decisions that a bride's going to make in their wedding is what is the wedding cake going to look like. And we've had brides, you know, bring photographs, bridal magazines, all these different things to give us a kind of an idea of what they're looking at. And we have pictures as well that they can look at to try to get kind of, you know, what the cake looks like. And we've even done a cake that was 7 feet tall.
7 feet tall.
7 feet tall.
How many guests were at that wedding?
There was 1,000 people. So it was a great wedding and a great cake. I think I looked at that cake about a half a mile away, and it would still look huge.
Wow.
It was big.
So if you want something small to something extremely big, you'll work with the bride to find out what they want and what best suits their needs. What are these little guys we're looking at over here on the screen?
These right here, those are actually custom little cakes that we'll do as well. So we can do a cake that you'll see, a big cake like that, but we can also do we've done these for plated functions. So we'll have a plated function and they want everybody to sit down and enjoy the company around the table. We can actually give each person an individualized wedding cake.
John, tell us about your role in this whole process.
I like to do like custom cakes. So as you see, we did a golf bag.
That is really neat. So this is the groom's cake that we're showing this morning. Obviously, you got the golf clubs, the ball, the golf bag. How custom and amazing is that? Is this one of the typical type requests that you get, or what are some of the custom cakes that you made that you stand out in your mind?
We also do like a shrimp basket cake, and then actually I did a while back like a fish cake. It looked like a bass.
Sure.
Go ahead.
And we do so many different kinds of ones like that. You know, John's you know, very creative like that. He does a great job with all the different kinds of cakes that he does, and it's really spectacular, the different things that we've done that our guests can really enjoy. The groom's cakes get a little wild sometimes. They do ask for some crazy things.
No doubt. Well, I've seen the show Cake Boss and all those shows on TV that show how much work and artistic and creativity goes into making these fantastic cakes. So John, I definitely admire what you do. That looks fantastic. The wedding cake you guys brought looks fantastic. Smells great. What we're going to do is when we come back in the next segment, we're going to show you how to put some of this stuff together. What are we going to be doing here?
We're going to be doing buttercream. Buttercream is one of the typical icings that we get. There's so many different, but buttercream is something that you can make at home, have just a great cake that is not only a wedding cake that you can make at home, but great for all sorts of different cakes that you can assemble at home. And we're going to show you how to do a simple syrup too that can bring great flavor to your cake or anything that you do pastry wise.
Sounds fantastic. We'll get started on that when we come back in just a little bit.
Welcome back to Studio 10, everyone. We are in our great kitchen set with Mike Wallace and John Jackson from the Grand Hotel Marriott. And as you can see, we have a beautiful display of wedding cakes. And right now, we're going to learn how to make some icing. Right, guys?
Yes, ma'am. We are going to make some buttercream, traditional buttercream, which is really easy to make. And Chef John is going to show you how to make that.
We don't have a lot of ingredients here. This is really simple. What all do we have?
It's very simple. What do we got there, John?
We have butter, we have shortening, and we have confectionery sugar, we have egg whites, we got heavy whipping cream, and vanilla extract. And yes.
Very simple. So what do we do to get started?
So first you need to do is put the butter in.
Then we've got our shortening next. And we put shortening. You can put all butter in there, but we put shortening because really when we look at the cake, shortening gives a little firmness to the buttercream. And that we're going to take that and we're going to get it, put it on low. Yeah. We're just going to get that whipped up, and from that point we can go to our syrup.
Okay.
So
what we got there, John?
When you make your simple syrup, You need to add your water.
This is a low heat that you've got this on, right?
Yes. And your sugar.
And basically that's 50-50. It's the same amount of water and the same amount of sugar.
Okay.
Okay.
And then we've got Grand Marnier that we're going to put in there as well.
You want to put that in there?
Yep. And then all we do at that point is we bring it up to a boil.
Is that really how simple it is to make syrup?
That's why it's called simple syrup.
Oh my goodness!
That's
I'll be
right.
making my own syrup from now on, and
Absolutely.
my own icing. How long will this take before the icing is ready?
We can.
Ready to go?
It's ready now?
Yep.
No, what we can do right now is we can actually add in. We'll start adding in our sugar. This right here is pure confectioner sugar, and we're going to take that and slowly put it in.
We're going to put in about the same amount?
We're going to put about 4 cups in there. We want to start with about 2/3 the amount of the sugar, because what that's going to do is we're going to get that going, and then we're going to put our liquid in there, and then we're going to finish it up with a little bit more sugar.
Okay.
So what we're going to do, so we've got that in there with the butter, and we're going to put our egg whites. Here we go.
This is so interesting to me because now I won't have to get my store-made icing and whip it up like I made it myself. I can do it myself now.
That's right. And you don't have to. This is one thing about recipes. You can use just about anything that you like. We put heavy cream in there because this is the Grand Hotel. We use heavy cream. You can put milk in there, is fine.
Okay.
Or you could just take the total of the ingredients, the egg white and the heavy cream, and just put milk in there, is perfectly fine. But again, we want that extra luxuriousness from the cream, and that'll come out in the flavor of the buttercream.
Now, when you're building these cakes, how do you incorporate the syrup into the building of the cake?
That is a great question. When we do our cakes, we have so many different things that we can do with them. Being the cake, we use white cake, yellow cake, marble cake, chocolate cake. You name the type of cake that you want, and we can do it. Then we take the syrup, and that's what's great about the syrup. We have that simple syrup recipe, and then we put in there Grand Marnier this time, but we can put Godiva, we can put Amaretto, we can put, really any liqueur, Bailey's, Kahlua, any kind of flavor that you want, and it's going to give that flavor to the cake, which is going to give just a wonderful flavor overall. A lot of people don't do that, and it's going to help keep that cake nice and moist. And with that flavoring, it's going to give it great flavor. And then, of course, we've got our buttercream. So as that buttercreams, we continue to put some more powdered sugar in there.
So the simple syrup is ready.
Okay, that's boiling now. So once it's boiling, what do you do with it?
We'll just let it cool down at that point, and it's ready to put onto the actual cakes.
Okay.
So then we can put a little bit more of the powdered sugar in there. And this is great buttercream icing, but we use all different kinds. We have Italian buttercream, we have Swiss buttercream. Those are great for toppings as well. But a lot of cakes, as the one that we have here, that's actually has the buttercream, and then we have fondant over our cake that we have here. And fondant is basically is sugar that's rolled out, very similar, and we just put it over the top of it, and it gives it a smooth appearance. As you can see on your TV set right here, the cake is absolutely smooth and perfect, and that's what fondant really does for a cake. But a lot of people want the buttercream on the outside, so we can do that as well. And that's what's so nice about, having a bride come in and choose, because we have so many choices. Sometimes it's so difficult to choose because we have all these different choices for our bride to choose. And when we do that, they can have the buttercream, they can have the Swiss cream, they can have the fondant, and when we do it, it all comes together exactly the way our brides want it.
Well, this icing is all coming together now. It's looking really smooth and creamy. We're going to let that blend up a little bit more, and when we come back, we'll see what our finished product looks like, and we are going to toss it over and see what it's looking like in our weather today.
Back in our great kitchen set with chefs Mike and John from the Grand Hotel Marriott. We are working on some wedding cakes this morning. John, fill the folks in on what we did during the last segment.
So as you see, we just finished off the project of the buttercream. We just want to make sure it's nice and fluffy. And then we finish off our simple syrup too with the Grand Marnier in it. Joe, you want to try some?
Yeah, I'll try it out. It looks pretty nice and fluffy to me.
Fluffy.
All right, look at this huge spoonful you gave me. I'm not going to put this whole thing. I'm just going to slaver it all over my face.
That's right. Good.
That's that good right there.
Yeah, that's right.
That is so delicious.
And then we got our
Let's try
simple
the
syrup.
Simple syrup.
Don't hurt me. Too good. Guys, this is just too good. Unbelievable. So that is fantastic the way that worked out. And one of the things I wanted to ask you guys during the commercial break is you guys will make a wedding cake for someone even if they don't have their wedding at the Grand. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. I mean, we want to make all brides happy, so we'd want them to come to the Grand Hotel, of course, but if they would want a cake from the Grand Hotel, we can absolutely do that. That would be great.
Well, I've been to several weddings at the Grand Hotel, and they are just amazing. The view is spectacular. The facilities are great. The food is wonderful. The cakes are delicious as well. So let's talk more about these cakes then again.
Okay, so when we're looking at this cake, something that, you know, actually for a few years now, what's been going on is high-end caterers and really pastry shops throughout the United States that do wonderful cakes, do display cakes. Just like this. This is a display cake, and what we do is we actually cut a section out in the back, and the bride and groom will come and pull the cake out and eat it and do everything like that. And what the whole thing about that is, from a culinary standpoint, we can make a fresh, beautiful cake. A lot of the time, these cake shops, these cakes will be several days old, and they could get dry, and they're just not the best cake. And what we do is we create a fresh cake that day, make it exactly the one. If you want it with the fondant, the buttercream, again, any way that we've been kind of showing you today. And what we do instead is we show you a beautiful cake like this. When you're looking at a cake, you know, from the Grand Hotel, this is what you're getting.
And I tell you what, we are running out of time, but that says it all right there on the screen. Beautiful, fantastic, and delicious cakes with the Grand Hotel. Guys, thank you so much. We'll be right back with more Studio 10.